Hi guys, my name is Kiera, also known as Hobokiki, and you guys did see me put together this spread. I also showed you guys the daily section for this week right here, but if you watched the video, then you knew that I did not do the 31st here, and there's a blank space there because I don't like separating my weeks. I don't like having them be separated by that April title page. So I just have this page here, and it's like, what are we going to do? So I thought, let's just go ahead and sketch. It's been a minute, so I am going to show you guys how I do a quick little sketch here. Well, not too quick, but like something that I could be like semi proud of. And yeah, I thought I would keep it real time, at least the sketching process, so you guys could see like exactly how I sketch. It's been forever since I've done a drawing video. If you're new here, hi, how are you? I actually used to draw all the time. Some may say that I was an artist. I did get paid for it once upon a time ago, but I fell off. Life started life and the pandemic happened, economy went down the gutter, and I had to focus on other things besides art, which like really broke my spirit. But also, that's life. But the more I ran from it, the more I hid from it, the more I told myself that, I can't really ever do art again, the more miserable I found myself. So, I did want to go back to my roots and just listen to that voice that was nagging me because I just heard myself saying, you have got to be kidding me. You can draw, you're sitting on a talent that you have. And it was just driving me crazy because I know I can draw, and yet I wasn't drawing, and everything in me wanted to draw. And I was doing this and I was doing that, and I was doing everything except for the one thing that really brings me joy, which was draw. And I was telling myself, you don't have to draw for money, even though that's what you used to do. You you can draw just because that's what you like to do. And in reality, I I was don't get me wrong, I was very thankful that at one point in my life I could make a living off of selling art, but I did notice that I found myself at my most happy when I was drawing for myself, not drawing to make money, just drawing for myself, doing what I wanted to do, exactly what I wanted to do, and just drawing for the sake of drawing. So I told myself, why don't you go back to that? Why don't you just use this opportunity to go back to drawing for yourself? So that is what I am trying to do, trying to force myself back into. So I am going to try to draw more. And especially when I have like little pages like this in my Hobonichi cousin, because y'all know I like to actually, um, you know, turn my Hobonichi cousin into like some form of like a bullet journal. I cut pages, I skip pages. And so I have like little blank pages like this laying around, which is like you can use those, Kiera, to draw on. And I was thinking maybe I might make this a series. Actually, if you follow my Instagram, I did post my monthly section on my Instagram, and that is my social media planner. And if you were being nosy and you actually looked into it, you could see I did have videos scheduled that I wanted to do, but I never did. And those videos were entitled Sketchy Saturdays. And I had always had it in my head that I could kind of like force myself back into art and create content for my YouTube channel. So that's what I kind of wanted to do, was like just on a Saturday, you guys would see like just a chill little drawing in my Hobonichi video. Nothing too major. Yeah, that was the goal. Did I've been wanting to do this idea, the Sketchy Saturday idea, forever, and I'm just now getting to it. So you can see how well that went. But hey, we're here now, and better late than never. I understand this might not be everybody's cup of tea. Completely understand that. A lot of you all, well, I would say all of you all, if not most of you all, are here just for the planning videos, which is, of course, because this is a planning channel. So I totally get it. But I did want to force myself back into art, and I thought that this would be a good way to do it. So, what am I drawing? I am drawing Arcane, the sisters specifically from Arcane. I did just recently watch that show. I know, I'm late. Everybody and their mama told me to watch that show, told me how good it was. And like when I say everybody and they mama, I really do mean that, because even my mama was telling me to watch that show because she knows I still like cartoons and anime and all that kind of stuff. And I always wanted to watch it, but I wanted to watch it when I could basically just binge all through it, and like there's no interruptions, because I do have kids, and I do have like a lot of like different tasks now that I gotta get to. And because everyone was saying it was so damn good, I wanted to make sure that I can like put all of my focus into it. So I waited until I just had a couple of days where I can sit and watch it all the way through. And man, when I tell you that show was good, it did not disappoint. So if you didn't know, Arcane is based off of a video game, actually, League of Legends. Never played it. Y'all do know I do play video games. I never played that specific one, but I have heard about it. And it follows two sisters, Violet or Vi, she goes by both, and then Jinx or Powder, okay? So, two sisters. We'll just say Jinx and Vi, okay? And basically, man, it's such a good show. How can I'm going to give a description without spoiling, and then we're going to talk about the spoilers because we have to. Okay, so this is the best way I can phrase it without doing any spoilers at all. So, the show follows two sisters, Violet and Jinx, and it basically portrays all of like this conflict that comes from a city that's basically split into top half being, we'll say, like the upper echelon of people, rich people, bottom half being like poor people, um, homeless people were in there, and you know just just the unfortunate, right? And our two main characters come from the lower half, and there's tension between the two halves. It causes lots of conflict between all of the characters, and yeah, I think that is the best way I can like wrap it up real quickly before before I get to spoiling stuff. But yes, it's very good. The story was well written. I do think it is a beautiful commentary about perspectives, about not helping because you don't know like what's another person may be going through because you're so used to like your way of living. A good commentary about hierarchy in society. A good commentary about family. A good commentary about I don't know, just life in general, bro. Like it was beautiful. It was very well written. And let me tell you, I'm a Pisces, excuse me, and I cry a lot. When I tell you, this show is also full of drama. So I was crying my eyeballs out, okay? Just crying my eyeballs out. And it's like that is kind of what I look for in the show now. That's my standards. Does it make me cry? And I know you're probably wondering, like, why in the world would you want to watch a show that makes you cry? It's not the fact that I want to cry, right? It's the fact that it's able to make me cry. And yes, I do cry easily, but not every show makes me cry, okay? So it's the fact that it can make me cry. Why is that important? Because in order for me to cry, I have to care about the characters and what happens to them. And what happens to them has to make sense. There has been times where I watched a good show, a good anime, and I care about the characters, but then something happens to the characters and it really just like does not make sense. So I feel like the writers are trying to pull tears out of me, but I'm like, that don't make sense though. So I can't cry. A beautifully written story is it makes you care about the characters. And then as soon as you start caring about the characters, something happens to them and now it all makes sense and you cry because it makes sense and the story made you care about the characters. It's hard to like make me care about the characters and write a plot that you know, makes sense to when something happens to them. It makes sense why someone would cry here. So, good storytelling. Arcane definitely had that. I would say it had that and more. And real quick, just wanted to let you know that now I'm done with the sketching process and I am going in with inking using like these Pigma Micron dupes that I got from Amazon. So we're just going to ink everything. I'm going to use a bolder line to like push things out to make them stand out and a thinner line for like details. So in case you're wondering, that's what I'm doing here. But let's get back to yapping about the show. Yeah, so it's essentially Frozen on acid. Frozen took an acid trip, but it is so cool. Like the characters, I love. If you like, what's that girl's name? Harley Quinn. You're gonna love Jinx. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. That's just how it goes. If you find that you like Harley Quinn, you will like Jinx. They both have that vibrant, fun, spunky personality, very energetic, chaotic. It's like dangerous but make it preppy. so so if you're into that, you would like Jinx. And then Vice, she's a little bit more serious. But she really loves her family and is there when it counts. She just gives big sister and I love her for that. And can we just talk about the art from the show for a second? Like the plot is amazing, the characters you'll love, but the art needs to be talked about. The color choices, the way they design things, the storyboarding, how things get laid out. It does feel like a moving comic. It's so beautiful. The color story, like the way like colors are used intentionally in that show. Oh my gosh. Like when I say the creators of that show did their big one. They did with Arcane. So it's a great story in every aspect. In every aspect. And it's rare for me to say that. It's hard for me to put like, you know, it's hard for me to like give something 5 stars, but like this is for real like a 5-star show. Like I see why it got all the hype. It deserves all that and more. Like it was just beautiful all the way through. Yes, characters pissed me off, but again, I really think that's just good writing. Like, because humans in life piss me off. Sometimes I piss me off because it's just like there are choices that you come across. And sure, you're not always going to get the best choice, but you will always get a choice. Again, it may not be the best choice, but you will always get the choice. And then when people make the choice that is just like, no, why'd you make that choice? Then you gotta like low key get mad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Vi, she was making me mad at a couple of points in the show. But it was, again, that's just good writing. I do really feel like characters are supposed to make you feel some type of way. Well written characters should make you feel some type of way, whether that is just happy or romantic or sad or in some cases angry. Because, like, let me tell you, for so long, I was mad at Lawrence Fishburne. Like, I was like legit mad at him when he played Ike. I was like mad at the actual actor because it's like that's how well he played that character. I'm like, I'm not watching no movies after I saw What's Love Got to Do with It. And I watched that movie at a young age, probably too young of an age. But yeah, I was so mad at him, and he's like, I was mad at the actual actor and not the character. That's how well he played that role, and that's how it should be in my head. But yeah, so if you like sci fi, I think you would like this. If you like dystopian stories, I think you would like this show. If you like family drama, you would like this show. If you like drugs, we got a little bit of that in this show. That was just a joke, but anyways, but it is in the show, like, so there's that. If you like commentaries about society, that is in the show. If you like action, that is in the show. If you like romance, that is in the show. If you're interested in different perspectives about the universe, and maybe this is a slight spoiler, just a warning there, but if you're into like the multi-universe thing, that's in the show. I actually found that very interesting. I did. I found that very interesting. I don't know. I just like seeing everyone's perspectives on things, and that was pretty cool to see as well. Also, like, you know, intelligence. You know what's crazy? Every single like sci-fi thing I watch, it's like the supreme being, which sometimes it's robots, and you know me. Let me put my aluminum foil hat on here, but y'all know I think one day we're getting a robot future, and you know what I mean by robot future. But like, I think it's inevitable, especially with all of AI and advancing and all that good jazz, smart cars and smart houses. It's just like, that's where we're headed. Now, will I be here? I feel like it's going to be like the later generations that get the robot apocalypse. But when it happens, like, good luck with that. But I only say that because I watch a lot of these kind of shows with robots or like supreme beings, the all-knowing ones, and then they always come down to the conclusion that humans are the problem. Humans are the problem. And it's like, even us as humans are like, yeah, we kind of are. But it's crazy because we're like the problem and the solution at the same time. I don't know why it works like that, but it does. And that's how it always is. So, I don't know. Yeah, Arcane was a good show. It was. I'm sad that it ended. I kind of want like the Men in Black to come and use like that silver pen that they had to like wipe my memory just so I can rewatch it and like re-experience it again because it was just that good. It's like it had everything that I was looking for in the show. Like I already gave y'all all the genres that were in there, and of course the sisterly love. It's just like yes, I need all of that, and it was all there. So Sad that it came to an end, but here we are. At least we can yap about it, right? Right. So, yeah. Now let's do some spoilers. I'm only going to do one spoiler, okay? Because I need to get this off my chest. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, pause the video, go watch Arcane. It's only 2 seasons. Trust me, you can binge it in a weekend. And yeah, I want to just get something off my chest. So here is the warning. This is the spoiler warning, okay? If you haven't watched Arcane, I'm getting ready to spoil like a big plot device, okay? So, the dad, right? First of all, let me tell you, I just love that daddy. He could be my daddy. Let me shut up, okay? But I did like the dad, okay? But I when I saw, what happened to him, like, okay, first how he injected himself, and then he became, I don't want to say monster because he was still in there, right? But that's essentially what he became. And then they used him and like made him worse, like even a worse monster. You know what that reminded me of? This is all I want to get off my chest, and I'm not gonna spoil anything else. But so you know how they made him an even bigger monster and like used him. I feel like that was Full Metal Alchemist coded. Like I really do. um, so if you haven't watched Full Metal Alchemist, then this is going to be a spoiler for that show as well because I just needed to get this off my chest. Okay? You cannot tell me that when they turn him into a big old monster and like used him for all the wrong reasons that it wasn't inspired by Full Metal Alchemist. I'm sorry. It reminds me of that episode that we all know and it's like traumatized us all when we were young. If you were watching anime, if you've ever watched anime, maybe you already know where I'm going. But it reminds me of when we met the scientist dude, right? And like he had a daughter. Well, he had a wife, a daughter, and a dog. And the wife died, unfortunately. And then he just had his daughter and his dog. And the daughter and the dog were kind of lonely, of course, because, dad, the scientist, always had to work. And so the daughter was kind of like left to just play with the dog. She felt really lonely. And then she met Edward and Alphonse Elric. And she got to play with them and she would call them big brothers because she finally had someone to like give her attention, right? And dad was always like off doing scientist things. And then we got to like ask him like, why are you off doing scientist things? And he was trying to like make something that the government would want to like fund. So he was trying to make a new experiment that the government would be pleased enough that they would sponsor him, right? So that's why he was, tucked away in his little office doing things and leaving the girl essentially by herself. But she was the sweetest little girl. And then you got to see them play, and here we go with the storytelling and making us fall in love with characters, right? So you already know where we're headed. Right. Okay, so so you fall in love with this little girl, and then Edward and Alphonse, they go back and they're like, hey, where's the little girl? Where's the dog at? And the scientist, it kind of almost like ignores them and it's just like, yo, I finally made my best experiment and I know that this government is going to fund me now because of this. And so they're like, okay, let's go look at the experiment. And the experiment is a talking dog. Hello, where we go with this? And of course, it clicks with Edward immediately, who immediately start punching him, as he should, because the dude made a chimera out of his dog and his daughter. And then you also realize that his wife didn't just mysteriously die. He killed her in an experiment. So it was just like, whoa, that was a lot. That was a lot. That was simultaneously the saddest and scariest moment in anime for me because I was also very young when I watched that too, and it was like it was so scary because her voice was distorted and she was still calling them brother, and it was just like, oh my god, you made me fall in love with her just so she could become like this mutation. It was, oh my gosh. But anyways, that's like the vibes that I was getting from the dad, and it was just like, I love this dude, but like also like, what are we gonna do because you're like this and now you're being controlled? And I don't know. I don't know. I felt like they were heavily inspired by that, and you can't tell me they were not. I'm going to take that to my grave. I think everyone tries to emulate that specific scene in anime because it was such a classic, jarring scene. But yeah, that's all I'll spoil for you guys. See, I was good today. You guys know me. I get the yapping and I just get to spoil it. And I don't even give spoiler warnings. It's just, bleh. It just comes out because I'm so excited to talk about it. But yeah, that was it. I really feel like that wasn't even like too much of a spoiler, but it was like, yeah, it was a spoiler for sure. But it wasn't like, you know, it's not going to completely destroy. Okay, it was a spoiler. It was a spoiler. It was a big spoiler. It was a good spoiler. So, anyways, yeah, just go watch Arcane if you haven't watched it. You guys know I'm not gonna recommend a bad cartoon to y'all. Like that was a good show from everything, from the writing, from the art. You're gonna love it, from the acting. And people really love Jinx's character. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but I don't know why, but I do know why. Um, essentially, the girl has issues. Okay, she went through something very traumatic, and it resulted in a big patch of her personality, her mindset, her thinking, and then you have Jinx, and again, she is like that Harley Quinn character, and I don't know. I think people really enjoy the juxtaposition between like bright, bubbly, and then just pure danger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. People really like that. And maybe it's also kind of like just pure chaotic neutral, right? Someone who just does what they want to do. I think that's why like people really liked Hisoka as well, from Hunter x Hunter. It's another anime reference, but yeah, because they are like chaotic neutral. They are going to do what is best for them. It's not really it's not really about picking sides. It's just like what they feel like they need, and it causes it causes a lot of disruption from both sides. Okay, it's just funny to watch it play out, but I think people really do resonate with the chaotic neutral character. Some may say she's not chaotic neutral. I put her there because if you watch it, she really was just doing what she thought would work best for her, and so be it. But again, that causes drama when you have a truly chaotic neutral person, and I don't know. You can disagree with me. Maybe where do you put her at? That's where I place her, chaotic neutral. But yeah, it was a good show. But what I was saying is, I think people resonate with the chaotic neutral because it's like you kind of get to live vicariously through them, and like I don't know how to explain it, but you guys know those inner thoughts that we all have, the intrusive thoughts. And no, you shouldn't let them win, but my girl Jinx, she'll let them win. she'll let the intrusive thoughts win. And I don't know. I think that's why people like resonate with her character. You got so many people that cosplay as her, like draw her, and like again, she's a fun character, and it's just like she's gonna do what works for her, and she almost had me cry at the end, girl. But you know it was a good show. That's all I say. Let me shut up. Let's talk about the page. We're wrapping it up. I got the inking done. um just adding like some splashes of color because obviously it needed it. because again, it played with color so well. So I did want to add that there. And then I add my favorite script washi. It's never gonna go anywhere. Like, so we must all just get used to it right now. It's not going anywhere. And then I did think like with all the lining, it did kind of like made the title of the show kind of like blend in. So I wanted to bring it out a little bit more. So I am going to painstakingly cut little letters out of this ink splotch washi and put it there so that the word arcane can pop out again. And that took so much time. 1 out of 10, do not recommend, okay? But if you really want to have like your title like stand out, then it does do the doggone thing for you. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on what you feel works best. I am going to show you how I did it. It was really like placing the washi on top of it. Well, it's not washi, it's PT tape. So let's get that clear. But yeah, you place that on top of it. You trace the letter, then you cut out the letter, and yeah, you stick it on there. And you'll see that here. But yeah, so that's how I did that. But back to the show. Yeah, I think people like Jinx because, what I said. Like, she lets the intrusive thoughts win. And I think a lot of people are intrigued by that. And I don't blame them. And, when you can just watch a show and then just live vicariously through a person, but then, like, you'll never do that, then, like, I get it. I kind of get it. I get the allure of those kind of characters. Even though I don't really understand why people love Hisoka so much, because we know what kind of person Hisoka is, okay? Like, truly a villain. so so the people that loved him, it's just like, y'all know what he likes, right? He need to be over there with R. Kelly. Lock him under the prison, but people like really ride or die for Hisoka. So I guess like I guess since he's a fictional character, he can get away with the things that he does and say. But anyways, this is basically the end of it. I am going to use these Robin's Planning Nest. That was a mouthful for me. Sorry. Stickers, they're like 5-star stickers, rating stickers. And of course, I'm going to give the show 5 stars. I found no flaws. I don't care. Like, the writing was great. It had me at the edge of my chair. I want another season. I want to forget what I watched and rewatch it again. That's how I felt about Avatar: The Last Airbender and Breaking Bad as well. All of these shows are like 5-star shows for me. But yeah, this was a 5-star show, and this was my little spread dedicated to it, I hope you guys like this video. I'll see whether or not I'm going to incorporate this in the rotation of Hobokiki like videos. We'll see. It's like I should, because it'll force me to draw, but then it's like a part of me just doesn't want to. But we'll see how I feel. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you dislike the video, feel free to dislike the video. It's whatever, bro. I hope you stay safe and stay creative, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.